if you take a peek at the pinned comment in my comment section, you'll notice that there is a link which takes you to my live stream. I live stream almost every day, and I actually discussed about this article yesterday, but it ticked me off so much that I decided to present it on this channel as well, because it's something that I find deeply personal and extremely offensive, by the way. You see, I was a late bloomer. In high school as well as in university, I had trouble getting a date. And I know why I had the trouble, because now I'm a married man, so I understand what I was doing wrong back then. But suffice to say is that I was listening to people like this individual. You know, like taking advice from educated people, advice that is so harmful and dumb that only a university professor gets to say it. So, these individuals, which, again, like this university professor seems to be one of them, is trying to fix a problem that may not even be a problem, but he's trying to address it nonetheless. He is looking at the fact that 1 in 3 men are having difficulty in dating, right? So they're focusing on the sex. Like, they're not having sex. The sex isn't really the issue. I know this is shocking and bewildering, but men want companionship first and foremost. I remember when I was a teenager and I was going out in the park, especially at 6 p.m., and I would see all the couples holding hands and sitting on the benches cuddling. I wanted that, okay? It wasn't like the sex. No, it was like the simple fact that I was wondering, like, what is wrong with me? Like why can these people have it, which is something that's supposed to be normal, but I'm having difficulty in getting that, right? So that was like the actual issue. And I'm pretty sure if you talk to men, that's what they will tell you. But the problem with professors and individuals like this guy, and usually sometimes feminists, is that they are completely secluded themselves into a high tower and just refuse to interact with the people that they are talking about that they're supposed to know about. So apparently, according to him, pornography is the issue. Now, I gotta point out that when I was a kid in Romania, and I emphasize on kid, there were a lot of kiosks which had porn magazines. Like, you could buy them, you know, even if you're a kid. Like, they wouldn't ask for ID or anything. And even afterwards, there were people that came at school with USBs full of stuff that they downloaded off the internet back when dial-up was a thing, and they had to spend sometimes even 3 days waiting for the download to finish, and if it was interrupted, they would have to start over again. So my point is, like, no, porn always existed, right? Like, the idea that, oh, we now have AI, and because we have AI, society will collapse, is complete ridiculous, right? Like before AI, you had the furry fandom. Like, you could find a paraplegic furry that would if, and you would get pretty much the same experience. Like, most AI now doesn't even allow for not safe for work. And secondly, the one that does is just abysmal. So I wouldn't say that porn is the issue, but not only that, notice how it's always the men that are the problem, right? I mean, women have access to sex toys for decades. The fact that they exist means that there is a market for them. Like, we are in capitalism. It's not the government that's funding dildos. So the fact that the sex industry exists when it comes to toys, there you go. And this is another thing that I also find problematic, is that, it's the AI, right? So we live in the age of OnlyFans, VTubers, Twitch streamers that tap into lewd. Like, all of these apparently don't matter. Oh, now AI is here and it's going to completely destroy men. The main issue that is never discussed, ever, is the fact that no one is wondering, like, why are men that are the problem in this? I mean, the image that they are creating, if I was an alien and I would listen to these university professors and activists, I would assume that teenage boys and young adults, they're swarmed by a tsunami of pussy. Like, literally, every single guy has his phone ringing non-stop with women that want to hang out. But they're like, no, I need my chatbot. I can't go out with you today because I need my chatbot. This is the image that they are creating, right? Is this like what's happening in reality? Is this like coinciding with what it is? Because if you look at statistics from dating applications like Tinder and OkCupid and many others, you will see that most men know how to rate themselves. Like a man that just finished high school and is now in first year of university, and he doesn't have a job yet. He's living with his parents. Doesn't have a lot of high esteem. He will rate himself as maybe like a 5 or a 6. And he's not even going to approach women that he internally considers to be above a 7. Like, he will think that those women are out of his league. Even though, if he was to actually talk with those women, some of them may give them the time of day. But because of that, and because of he internalized the fact that he is at the level of 5 or a 6, he will say like, oh, those women are completely out of my league. It's not going to bother. Meanwhile, when you look at what's happening with women on dating websites, almost all of them, like 90% of them or even more, regardless of how they look or what they can offer or anything like that, they go for the top 5% of the men. So it's a disproportionate graph. Like if you're talking about unrealistic expectations, right? If you're a woman and you want the Ronaldinho, you want the Messi, right? You want the president of Ukraine, you want Zelensky. The question is like, well, what do you have to offer to get the Zelensky? What do you, like, honestly, the competition is very high. And then the people like Ronaldinho, well, he's got also a swarm of women to pick from. So probably he's going to be a lot more promiscuous than, the guy that's more average. The best way to look at it, by the way, is if you look at the job market, right? Imagine a company that would hire everyone. Like, it doesn't matter. They're a company, they would hire anyone. They want to train their in-house staff. So they're like, they're offering whatever wage they can. They're offering good work conditions. But no one wants to work with them. Everyone wants to work at Google. And Google doesn't want to work with anyone, right? Like, Google is like, well, what do you have to offer? Do you have any experience? Like, have you worked at another company? Right? And you look at that, and the university professor comes and blames that it's the company that would hire everyone that's the problem. It's like, no. This is the issue. Like, why can't you be more like Google? Why can't you pull a couple of $1 billion out of your ass and just stop being poor and offer better wages and offer better condition and have more prestige? This is what we're witnessing, right? And you look at the platitudes. Approaching women and making them feel safe is a skill. Like, you need to be so disconnected from reality to say shit like this. When you look at the real world, right, like almost every single pop culture reference, every single university professor, every single, like, official source is telling men that they need to be less toxic, that they need to be more respectful, that they need to be more gentle, more kind. And I have a question for these individuals, right? How many men that have a PhD do you know that are single? Because I, as a person who have been both to med school and law school, I know a lot of them. Like, a lot of them that are still single today. The other question is, like, how many drug dealers do you know that are single? Who's the problem here? Like, no, seriously, like, who do you think that the onus of responsibility should fall here? Like, do you want people with PhD to be more like drug dealers? Because that's the thing. In reality, of course, it's not about being harmful or harmless. I think, like, Jordan Peterson actually said it the best. Like, men need to know how to become the beast, and then they need to know how to tame and control the beast. Because it is what it is. Like this is what women are attracted to. They're attracted to a person that can have confidence, that can protect themselves and protect others if needed, that know how to handle a situation where the wife or themselves are being treated unfairly. Like, all of these are necessary. You can't get this from a person that's meek, that has no self-esteem, that can't take care of themselves, let alone others. Right? Like, this is something that you will never get from a university professor. And again, the issue, like, if you want to analyze things, is not the men. I don't think it's the men. Until I see that the average man gets like 5 or 10 phone calls from other women, and he logs on social media and he's getting like 40 DMs from women, and the man goes like, no, I'm going to stick with my AI waifu. I'm going to play my video games and I'm going to ignore all this. I don't think, like, the problem is the men. Assuming that there is even a problem. Like if you want to tackle this issue like this, I don't think it's a problem, but, like, this university professor does. So what does he have to say about it? Well, apparently he tells men to take a shower. Like, look at the platitudes, right? Look at the platitudes. It's like, yes, if you're a man, you need to take a shower once in a while. Right? Shower more often. Isn't this offensive as fuck, by the way? Like, maybe he doesn't shower and he thinks other people are like him. I don't know, but it's so offensive. He would never tell women to do this, right? He would never tell even Pipkin Pippa to shower more often. Like, if you don't know people, why do you assume that the problem with men not getting relationships is because they don't shower? Do you know how many women I know that don't shower? You know how many women I know that eat garlic and have stinky breath? And no one tells them anything, right? It's not about that. Like, obviously, there are people who shower and people who don't, but still, I want to remind him that medieval farmers still managed to have relationships and wives. So, yeah, the main reason that this annoys me is, number one, the platitudes. Number two, the failure in assess the problem. Number three, all the onus, like, all of the negative criticism is put on men. The idea that, like, men are obsessed with porn and, this is why they don't want to date. It's like, go outside. You know what outside? Sexual harassment lawsuit, that's outside. I mean, look at the current culture in the UK. They even passed a legislation where they're suggesting that if you look at a woman for longer than necessary, if she feels that your gaze is harassment, then it is. So she can file a complaint at the police. Again, like, the culture has shifted. Now the correct way of dating is staying inside and using dating apps and social media. It's just like a new thing. But you get, like, still these boomers, like, reminiscent of the old ways, which are trying to cling to the stuff that worked for them, but, like, it doesn't work today necessarily. So anyway, right, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. And don't forget to check the pinned comment and subscribe to my live stream channel if you will. Take care.